Hello vinyl community, this is Mark from Westchester coming at you. This is my first video of 2019, and the reason I'm doing it is because I love the 3 questions for the contest that Hanna-The Omaha Introvert has posed, and I just thought I'm going to do this. So I'm going to go right into it. Oh, by the way, congratulations Hannah, 1,000 subscribers in 1 year. I've been on here 9 years, not as in the vinyl community, but I only have like, well, it's not going to go there. Okay, so I'm just going to go right into it. My very first female favorite artist, there's 3 of them that she asked for, and I've got 3 of them. Favorite and artists that might be thought of as like they need a little bit more exposure. Well, this lady here was around in the late 60s to the late 70s. Her name was Sandy Denny, and this is her band Fairport Convention playing right now. And this is Sandy this is a album that she did on her own a few years after leaving Fairport. This is called Who Knows Where the Time Goes. And she has a very beautiful, soothing voice. And she was one of the first people to, and Fairport Convention were one of the first bands to bridge folk and rock music together. A few years before that, Bob Dylan was booed out of the Newport Festival for playing electric guitar. Well, a lot of electric guitar in this stuff. And Fairport Convention was a wonderful band. And she passed away in 1978 at the age of 31, tragically. Just she fell down a flight of stairs, got a head injury, died in a coma. But she was wonderful. I'll let her sing for 8 more seconds. Okay, next on the list. I didn't know about this person till a couple of years ago. I was at an album listening party and I saw this. And I just saw the Betty Davis part, and I didn't look at the picture, and I went, Betty Davis? Who's going to play Betty Davis? The actress, really? Well, this is Betty Davis, a different Betty Davis. This is the Betty Davis that married Miles Davis. She became Betty Davis. I don't know what her maiden name was, but she married Miles Davis in 1968. And she knew Jimi Hendrix, and she knew Sly Stone, and introduced Miles to both of those guys. She wrote the song Uptown to Harlem that the Chambers Brothers did. That is a funky song. And she precluded the disco age. She was around, she recorded 3 really funky albums. First one she did was with Miles. It wasn't so funky, but the other 3, there were 4 in all. And the other 3 were very funky. Take a listen to this. So this is before Shaka Khan. And Shaka Khan was kind of out there, and a few other people in the early to mid 70s. But Betty Davis was considered to be too controversial, and she just, after 3 albums, she basically burned out and went to Pittsburgh, and lived in Pittsburgh ever since. Last year, a documentary called They Say I'm Different started making rounds in movie theaters and selected movie theaters. Hopefully will be on DVD, because I want to see that. She's been out of contention for 40 years. This is really in your face funky. The whole album is like, this is a collection of Betty Davis music. Highly recommended for those who like this kind of stuff. I love it. All right. Number 3. Allison Miller's Boom Tick Boom. Well, actually, it's called Otis Was a Polar Bear. Now, Allison Miller, who is Allison Miller? She is a percussionist. She has about 6 albums out. She writes all the music that's on this album, and it's all just beautiful mixture of like jazz and ethnic sounds, and most of it's thoroughly composed with some improvisation, but wonderful melodies. The instrumentation has flute, clarinet, horns, piano, bass drums. She wrote all this music on here. I'm going to let it play for a little bit, let you hear it. CD of the album. I make CDs of all my albums. Sorry for the glare, people, but not professional lighting this joint. Alright, so while Allison plays her way out, I'm going to talk to you about what the next question would be. What are your favorite two subgenres, or two of your favorite subgenres of music? Well, I have a couple at least. The first one, we'll call it fusion music. And this is the album I'm going to use to represent fusion music. Again, an album and a band that probably some of you might know, Brand X. And the album is Unorthodox Behavior. And what is fusion music? Fusion music basically is a mixture of basically rock and jazz. Sometimes a little bit more jazz, sometimes a little bit more rock. I got into fusion music when I was about 12 years old, and Billy Cobham's Spectrum was the one that got me going. Then I got into Jeff Beck, and then the Dixie Dregs took me away, and then I filled in everything between, including Frank Zappa's Hot Rats. Oh my God, those are fabulous fusion recordings. Now this is Brand X, and the drummer is Phil Collins. He co-founded this group and was on the first couple of albums of theirs. Their albums are, I think you can find their albums, they're really well recorded. Band's incredible. They're kind of quirky, a lot of jamming, but not too much. It's not like they get lost. And they reformed a few years ago, and they're on tour. They're going to be coming to this area, I think, like within a month. They're really quite interesting. And if you don't know how great Phil Collins' drumming is, you listen to this band, you'll go, "Oh, I didn't know Phil could do all that." It's wonderful. Yeah, like, listen to this. I forgot the bass player's name. Really great bass player. Quirky. Great sound. These albums have wonderful sound if you have a nice sound system. Okay, next. I generally like to listen to music to stimulate my mind, but I also like to listen to music that calms me down. So turn this down a little bit. And this is I'm going to use as a representative of it. This is David Berman. I don't know much about David. He's a composer, and this particular piece called On the Other Ocean has actually it's like a computer, electronics computer. This is in 1977, so this is before Apple computers and stuff. It has flute and bassoon, and they react off of the electronics. And this lasts for about 25 minutes on a side. And if you put this on and you have a nice copy of it, and there are copies available, this came out through the New Music Distribution Service years and years ago, and I grabbed it. This is like a 40-year-old copy. Absolutely will take you to another place. Okay. That should take care of the first two questions. Now the third question, your favorite piece of audio equipment. This is the main reason I entered into this contest. I have a favorite piece of audio equipment that has been like a companion of mine for years, and here it is. This is a Sony CF 550. It calls itself a cassette recorder. That's what it says right there. Believe it or not, it's a little worn out. I got this back in 1974 as a Christmas present from my father. He had one, and I said, "Oh, Dad, that is so cool. Can I have one?" So this has been my buddy, and I was an only child. Still am an only child. Only grown up, whatever, man. And this was my companion. I listened to music on the radio from this thing probably 5 hours a day. As soon as I got home from school, this thing went on, and I recorded so many tunes, including all those fusion tunes that got me going when I was younger. This thing has 4 speakers in it. It weighs almost 7 to 8 pounds. And the other thing that I did with this is I recorded a lot of music that I did. And I was thinking of making a montage of all these things I did. I'm going to play you one thing. And this one thing was recorded in 1979, according to my notes. And this was with some friends of mine from Unionville High School. and I had just graduated the year before, and this was a party outdoors in the summertime at New Bolton Center, which is the University of Pennsylvania's veterinary medicine college, 700-acre estate, and they had a party. And somebody in the band knew somebody from New Bolton Center, so we played, and we were just jamming. We didn't really have a band together, so we sort of ran out of music after about, I don't know, an hour or so. So the bass player started playing the Barney Miller theme. For those of you who don't know the Barney Miller theme, it starts off with a bass lick, and I went, "Yeah, let's do that." And well, let's take it from there. Nice microphones, right there. The guy just said, "Welcome back, Connor," again. I thought, no, that's the Barney Miller theme, dude. So we're just trying to get our footing here. That was me. Look at all this. And these are like made out of like metal. These are really cool. It's got a mono and a stereo switch. It's got volume, balance, and tone. Those wave systems don't even have that stuff anymore. It was used also, the CF550 was used by a lot of musicians. I found a picture of John Lennon with one. Check this out. You can see that? Yeah. And I've seen others. I can't remember who else it was. Maybe it was Sly Stone. I don't know. But what happened in this thing, we didn't know quite what we were doing. And then this guy came up. He was like the only guy of African American descent that was here at this party. And he came up there, and he looked like he'd had a few beers. He got up to the microphone, and he started singing. I was like, this is great. And the band starts to really start grooving now. We're now in it. And somebody tried to pull him off the stage. And I said, come on, let him play. You'll hear me. Yeah, he was making that all up. That was pre-rap, people. Anyway, I recorded tons of stuff on this wonderful, wonderful piece of audio equipment. Sony really had a winner here. I've kept it. I don't know if I'll refurbish it or what. I haven't used it in a number of years. But I wanted to show that off. And thank you, Hannah, for asking that question, because I got to actually show people this little thing. I have it in a closet in the studio that I work at, where I teach guitar, and I showed the students, and they go, "What the?" I said, "Hold on to this thing. See if you can hold this up." Oh, that's so heavy. Oh God! All right, I'm done. Hannah, thank you again for this opportunity. Congratulations on your 1,000 subscribers, and I'll see you all at some other point. Bye.